I got it.
No,
I got it. You just got out of the hospital. You're on crutches. I can carry your bag.
Thanks.
You okay?
Never better. You got more pills than me than my mom.
You're kidding, right?
Don't worry. Motrin's all I'm popping. How is it possible that nobody knew she was in trouble?
Well, people can hide all sorts of things if they're motivated.
Yeah, but you're in the same house. I mean, she ever seem out of it?
She seemed like Deb.
Thought you could use a little pick-me-up.
They're beautiful. Thanks.
Any word from Keith?
No. I called all the airlines that go through O'Hare, but they won't even tell me if he's been on a flight.
Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Maybe I can make a few calls, huh?
I don't think so. It's what started this whole mess.
No, Dan did.
And if we hadn't been digging in Dan's life, we never would have found out about Jules. And Keith would be happily married right now.
You're right. I shouldn't have pushed the idea in the first place, but you were just so upset about Lucas, I couldn't sit there and do nothing, you know. I find it hard to back off, Karen. When I love someone, I'll go to any lengths to help them. Even though sometimes what's best is leaving them alone.
You know, in 45 episodes of One Tree Hill, we've seen Dan and Lucas together a lot. We've seen them in sort of very different flavors of their relationship. We've seen them argue. We've seen them try to get along. You have to commit to something like that, especially if you're going to bring new energy to it every time out. And Paul Johansson just inhabits Dan Scott in such a great way. This is a scene where, once again, you know, Dan is being very elusive, and it's hard to know if he's being sincere or not, and we love that energy for the show.
Off to the movies?
You heard about that?
Of course. Hey, since everyone else is kicking in to pay Nathan's bills, I'd like to contribute too. You don't have to tell me it came from me. Is living here such a bad thing?
No. Deb and you are really good to me.
Then why are you helping Nathan live on his own?
Because it's what he wants.
And what I want is for Deb to be healthy and for Nathan to move home. With you.
Well, it's not up to either one of us. It's Nathan's life.
I just wish he didn't think having me in it was such a bad thing.
One of the staples of the show is the relationship between Brooke and Peyton, and especially the time they spend in their bedrooms, just sort of working through their emotions. And, you know, they have such good chemistry, and it's fun to watch, and it works. So here's a scene where it's just two girls being best friends.
Okay, you totally blew out a movie night too early because halfway through Godzilla vs. Mothra, the projector caught on fire. So Tim checked it in the ice machine, and then Mel sent cubes flying everywhere trying to tunnel it out, and then everybody else got into an ice fight. And I'm shutting up right now. Are you dipping on me, friend?
Maybe a little.
I'm sure Jake misses you too.
Then why won't he let me visit? I feel like I'm failing him, or that there's just something more I should be doing.
That's not true. You write to him every day. He knows you would drop everything to go see him. I think it's just too hard for him to look at you without being with you, you know?
So where does that leave me?
You know, what are you supposed to do for the people you love when there's nothing you can do to make things better?
Let those people know you love them. Stand by them even when it sucks. And you gotta figure out what makes you strong so you can kick ass for them when they need it. Peyton, Jake makes you so happy. But what makes you strong?
I'm sorry, Danny.
Oh, this ought to be good. For what?
Whatever you need me to be sorry for.
Well, that's a long list of screw-ups, Whitey.
I take the blame for all of them, if it'll help get Nathan into high flyers.
Oh, I see. You didn't come here to apologize. You came to negotiate.
I came to say I'm sorry. Dan, you were a great player. Maybe I was a lousy coach. Maybe I should have listened to you more and eased up a little bit. But we can bury all that now and do what's best for Nathan.
And you think high flyers is what's good for him?
I think he needs to get away and bathe himself in the game that you taught him to love. The game that gave you all the hopes and dreams that it gave me. If saying I'm sorry will help your son, a kid who, by the way, I think the world of, then I'm sorry. I was wrong. And I mean that sincerely.
You know what, Whitey, you're right. I was a great player. And you were a lousy coach. Still are.
Come to talk about high flyers or what an ass your father is?
Coach, I appreciate everything you've been trying to do for me, but I'm afraid I can't go to that camp.
Remember this? My 500th win, courtesy of a last-second basket by Nathan Scott.
It was on some crummy fadeaway because you made me work with Lucas.
If you recall, I was going to retire right after this. But you asked me not to.
Coach, my mom wants us to try to be a family again. And the last time I left her, it nearly killed her. Now, I know I'm going to regret not going to that camp, but I just can't.
Nathan, I do admire your dedication, but you've got to consider your own life. Regret has a way of grinding us down over time. Believe me. You asked me not to give up on you. I won't. But I also won't let you give up on yourself.